All right, another very interesting lesson. In this one, I'm gonna show you some of like the classic looks, Hollywood looks that we hear about all the time, bleach bypass and Sin City or like 300, the movie 300 look. So I'm gonna show you quick and easy ways to create those looks, but they're kind of on their way out. I mean, bleach bypass will always be there, but I'm gonna be giving you the 2019 version of those looks. So it's gonna be relevant, it's gonna be cool, and you can use it in many different ways, okay? Because ultimately, you know my mantra, the whole thing is I want to make you employable, I want to make you current, I want to make you a tastemaker, and I want to give you all the ways that you can utilize these skills. So let's go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to balance out our image. So I'm just looking at it and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to go in here, break this chain, and in my custom curves, I can already see that there's way too much yellow going on here. So we can do a couple of things. We can go into our green and we can pull that down to add magenta to balance it out. And somewhere around here, it should be fine. It's coming up, and now it just looks like if it's a daytime, it should be somewhere around there. Maybe we can pull it up a little bit to kind of even it out. And then I can take my blues and just crank them up a little bit. And then I can take my reds and do the same. Just actually don't need to give it more red. So let's just say this is my balanced image. It's looking good. And if you think, hey, this might be looking too magenta, then we can go into our green and pull it up a little bit. And then we can take our red and give it a little bit more red. Something like that. So let's just say this is our base. So this is before, this is after. This is our base, okay? I'm gonna create another node, and this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go into that node, and I'm gonna create a layer node. So I'm gonna right click and do add layer mixer. And now in the bottom node, the way layer mixer works is that everything that's at the bottom is up top. Imagine that that's on top, so that takes priority. Just keep that concept in mind. And this is gonna blow your mind what I'm about to show you right now, okay? Go under here, under color. There is this menu called presets, and under that, these are all the presets that Resolve has for each of these colors. So anytime you have a distinct color like that, so I can go under my preset and I go, you know what, pick red. And it's gonna go ahead and grab all my red and even the skin and everything, and it does a phenomenal job because you're about to see what's gonna happen. You don't even need to mess with it anymore. You can just leave it there. You can mess with it if you want to, but I'm just gonna show you how easy and effective it is. So I'm just gonna leave that as is, okay? And I'm gonna show you how clean this is. I'm gonna go right here. Now that this is selected, I'm telling Resolve, hey, do not touch this. Preserve all the information here. Preserve all this, and then take me right here, and now I can do whatever the hell I want with it. So if we want to create a Sin City, or if we want to create the 300 look, this is how you create it. You go under your color boost. People do it different ways. I do it this way because it's just like really clean. And that's it. You pull your color boost, and just look what happened. It was just that simple. And there you go. And then you can play around with it, how much or how little you want it. So you can keep it somewhere around here, because if you remember Sin City had like a really nice monotone for one color, and then the reds were popping. So we are pretty much doing that by just creating this. And then if we want to push it too much like Sin City, we can just keep going, and then we'll have something like that. And we got our reds popping, and that's the Sin City look. And then you can find your balance however you want it, but this is how it's done, and it's the cleanest, fastest way. There's other ways that you can do it. You can pull your key manually and do it that way, but this is how I would do a look like that to get there really, really fast, or if I'm giving some ideas to my client. And then in the top node, you can do other things too, right? So let's just say I want to add more blue, so then I can go in here, my custom curves, and add more blue, and then I can go to my red and pull that down and just add a really cool like Hobbs and Shaw sort of situation, just with 3 nodes. And just look what kind of look that we're creating now. And then if you want to get more sophisticated with it, you know, you can go in and you can grab the dude and like pull him out. You know, we can do that. Let's just take it a step further. So I'm going to do another layer node. And then in this one, I just want to pick him. So I'm going to just grab him, and grabbing him means we're grabbing the back too because he's so close to it. So we're just going to have to get really granular to make sure that we don't grab anything from the back and we just grab him. So even something like that, and then let me see what's happening here. And then I want to blur it out quite a bit. And then if we have this going on, then you see that we're preserving that color in his skin quite a bit. And now we can either leave it there or bring it down or leave it there, like however we want. So like these 3 nodes right here, look what we created just so quickly. Now you see this is a problem, like what we're experiencing here. So obviously then you have to go in and fix that. And let's just do it right now. Alright, so that's taken care of, and that was definitely necessary to pull his skin out. And then that's his jacket, and then that's our color in the back. And we were able to create this Sin City or 300-ish look, Hobbs and Shaw, whatever you want. You can go in many different directions. This is a very effective way to create super cool looks super fast. So this one was 300 Sin City. I'll end it by doing the usual. So I'm going to go into my sharpness and I'm going to bring it down just to give it more sharpness, and then I'm going to go into my grain and I'm going to go in here, add this baby right there and just give it some grain because this is a music video, so those just look super dope with more character. And then this is where I'm going to end this. Alright, so now let's create the bleach bypass look. Another very sexy, very hot look, overly used, and a lot of people use and abuse it. I'm going to show you how this is used in 2019, and it can be done very tastefully. And just think of the movie, I think it was called Eli's Book with Denzel Washington. So think of that. That was bleach bypass, okay? And it was so saturated and yet desaturated and lifeless at the same time. So we're going to try to create something really cool here. So first thing you want to do is start off with balancing your image. So I'm going to add contrast, lift my gain a little bit, add more contrast, and not too much because that's going to be done in our bleach bypass action. So somewhere around here, I'm going to bring them up a little bit actually. Bring the gain down, bring the lift down, and then give it some saturation. So I'm going to give it about 65-ish. That's fine. Now let's move on. And this looks nothing like bleach bypass. What the hell am I talking about? We'll get there. Just hang in there with me. So this is how I suggest you do it. You take your gain and you bring it down about down to here and maybe here, and that's fine. Leave your gain around here. Actually, you know what? Bring it down a little bit more. Around here. And then once you leave your gain there, now we're just going to be using the Y sliders for this look. And just look what happens. I'm going to exaggerate it to give you an idea. See what I mean? Like what we're creating right now. So that's what we're going to be using. Okay. So I'm going to reset this down to where it was. I'm actually going to just undo it. So now we're back here. So let's do it this way first, and I'm going to show you another way real quick. So let's just do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and raise this guy, and then I'm going to counter it by bringing my mids, my gamma down, and then raise it more, gamma down, raise it more, gamma down, raise it more, raise my gain, gamma down, gain up, gamma down. Now that's cool, right? Now what I want to do here is, like I said, I don't want to create just a regular bleach bypass look, but if I want to take it a step further, I would do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a layer node. So I'm just going to create a layer node, and it goes to default. That's fine. Don't freak out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick his skin. And we have some good separation going on, so it shouldn't be too hard. See, it was did a pretty good job. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to smooth it out like such. And then I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to give it a lot of blur. Come out of it. And now what you're seeing is we got our skin back, and then the rest is a bleach bypass. Now you go, this is a bit much because this is where the bleach bypass action happened. And we can go and adjust it a little bit. I can bring my lift up a little bit. I can bring my gamma down more. Gain up. And you can go, you know what? It's just not as dramatic. And in that case, what you can do is go right here, and then control the intensity of this. So we can say, you know what, split the difference. Give me half of my skin back, but then keep the rest, the essence that we were capturing here. So if I turn these two nodes on and off, you see what's happening? That is the modern day bleach bypass. So let's play it through. And what really sells it as a bleach bypass is the next two steps. Okay, so now I can do one more, tack that contrast a bit more, even if it's something like that. And then if I go, it's a bit too much color, I can always come in here in my saturation and just crank it back and go, you know what, this is better. Now I'm going to go and give it a bit more contrast. I'm going to raise my gain a little bit, or gamma a little bit, while I give it some contrast. And then I'm going to bring my gain down and keep giving it contrast and keep lifting my gamma. So somewhere around here. So let's park it right here. This is before our last node, and that really starts to add, because in your bleach bypass your highlights are usually just like, your contrast is really pushed. Okay, now what I want to do is, the ultimate selling point for bleach bypass is tons and tons of grain, monochromatic grain. So I'm gonna go heavy on this one. So I'm actually gonna use this specific print. I'm gonna use 16mm reversal, and look what it does. The crystal particles that you find in film, it exaggerates those and it pops them out. Like, look what it's doing to the whites. I mean, they're all of a sudden getting so crispy. And then the strength is actually looking pretty good. If you look at it on your screen, you're gonna see the strength is looking really good. Now I can go in here, and going back to Eli's book, if you want to take this and you're like, this looks too cold, I want to give it some color, then you can easily do that. We can come in here and we can just unlink this and take my blues and just bring it down a little bit. And then I can go in my red and just start increasing it a little bit. You know, so we can start giving it color, or we can also just pull some saturation out. And now we're really creating something here. So this is your bleach bypass. You can go whichever direction you want to go with the color. You can give it more color, you can give it less color. This is where I liked it. The contrast usually is pretty crazy. If you think it's too much, you can pull back some of the information and we can go a little easy on here. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to dial back my contrast a little bit. And now if I do before and after, let's just do this. I'm going to open this up and do original and then hide this, bring this down. Let's play these back. So I mean, it's a really cool look, achieved very easily, very fast. We're not losing any information. Look where our image is living. We have everything, yet we have the illusion that, you know, man, we're on the cusp, we're pushing it. And this is what I wanted to teach you with this bleach bypass look. I'm taking these looks and really stylizing them and make them modern, and you know what you can use today in music videos, documentaries, whatever have you. Like, you can really stylize it, and as long as it's tastefully done, it can be sold. Ultimately, the job of a colorist is that you want to preserve all your detail, all your information. We're doing that. Remember, from the start in this module, I told you living between 768 and 384 in that world for our midtones and everything is the juice, and we can see it. We can see it, like just the detail in his skin, everything is great. It's just really wonderful. We're not losing anything. It's all there. So that's your bleach bypass look. Now I'm just like playing around with it, just having a little bit more fun and see what comes of it. And we're starting to see some cool looks here. And I want to go in and actually go in here and just bring my luminance versus saturation, and I'm going to bring his clothes down, and then yeah, so something like that. I mean, it's really stylized, and yet it's very contained, no loss, and we have a very nice bleach bypass look.